So I've noticed there's not much documentation online about putting a towbar on an Astra, a 2002 model Astra. So I thought I would make document it a little bit. I've already done it like a couple months ago. So I sort of show how you do it. So your first things first is you've got to take, before you do anything, you've got to take the tail lights out, and they are behind two plastic doors, and then they use thumb screws to come out. Make sure you unplug the harness first, and do the same both sides. Take the units out, and they have thumb screws, plastic screws, and those are the plastic doors. Now you want to take the bumper off. I'm halfway through doing it, but I've realized I've put the towbar socket on the towbar, on the bumper itself, so I'm gonna have to try and undo it. But yeah, now this plastic piece, let me put this here, if it will sit. Okay, we're gonna do it one-handed then. This, make sure you pull out any child seat restrainers, the anchors first, but this, just reef it out, because it all unclips. But if you want to do it properly, because I don't have the strength to reef it out, like these tools, or a flat bladed screwdriver. And then what you want to do is flip it upside down, and then just put her in, just throw her in. Sometimes it helps if you remove the rubber thing, but just reef it off. I missed a clip. There we go, just reef her off. There's my globe. It's my buddy boot light thing disintegrated on me, so I've got to get a replacement. I'm going to go with an LED one. And now we've got the wiring. Now with the Astras, they have a Canbus harness. I've shoved it all in here. They've got a Canbus system. But I found online that you don't need to do this. This I'm going to have to take off because I've blown the brake light system for the Canbus line on this. It's all the lights are wired individually, which is great. They're all individually wired, so you don't need this. And there's a jumper right here. See those two metal pins at the very bottom? That is for the rear fog lights, to tell the computer to either connect or disconnect the rear fog lights. And then it does all this fancy computer stuff. But with the tail lights, they're not Canbus. They're not Canbus at all. So what we can do, the computer does not care how much of a load is on the rear harness. So what we can do, like what I've done here, I've got this brake light coming through all the way, going to a connector behind here, which I'm going to have to remove all this, going to the high tail light. So what I'm going to do is either move it from the high tail light, but I think I've soldered it to it all, So what I'm going to do is tap into them, but I'll also walk you through on how to put a tow bar on a Astra, a Holden Astra or Opel Astra or Voxhal Astra. So it's in Australia, it's the SRI model, or it's universally the SRI model. In Australia, it's the TS model, or internationally, the Model G, the Opel Astra G, or in Australia, the Holden Astra TS. This is a 2.2mm model. So what we're going to do is take off some bits of trim so we can get to the screws. Take these plastic covers off. Close that door in a minute because that high-pitched beeping is getting annoying. I'll pause and I'll get back to you. Okay, so what you want to do to get the bumper off after is, after you take the headlights out, you go through and remove all the screws. You got one screw in the rear wheel well, right here, one there, and there's one on the bottom of the bumper, right here. And you've got one here, one right here, and one right here. You got one further along, and then the one in the same spot in the wheel well. And I will get back to you when I get the bumper off. Okay, so I've got all the screws out. Now what we want to do is just pop, 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 if it will, pop, pop, one side, I'm going to grab under here, pop the other side, grab underneath, the bottom, and there. I should have washed the car beforehand, but oh well. Now, it is resting on the tongue. So what I'm going to do is take that tongue off. So, what I'm going to do, rattle gun. There we go, 1/2-inch rattle gun. I only need a bit 2-amp battery for this. And then, I don't remember what size it is, so I'm just gonna grab 30mm socket. Now you do not use chrome bits with a rattle gun because they will crack and shatter. So you need to be very, very careful. Way too big. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, it's a 24mm. So we chuck in reverse, and then off she comes. And it's heavy. Just watch it doesn't crush your arm. But yeah, it's a heavy piece of kit. It's very heavy. So this is a 1-ton tow bar, so rated for 1 ton. This vehicle can pull 2.5 tons. Literally, it's not rated for that, but I have pulled my brother's car, which is 2.5 tons as an AU Falcon. I've pulled 2.5 tons with roughly a 1 ton vehicle. This vehicle is fully capable of towing more than what it's rated. because his radiator blew up. So, okay, so that's all connected there. Now, I've got to remember, if it's, okay, so one side, so with these tag tow bars, there is a set of 3 long screws and a set of 3 short bolts. I don't remember which side is which, but also be very careful that the indents for these holes where you've got to drill into the cab of the vehicle, you've got to drill through the metal. The holes do not line up at all, so be very, very careful where you drill. So the center punch marks set from the factory do not line up, so you need to poke and prod and sort of measure. So what I would do is do a pilot hole, and if it is dead center, then move on to the required drill bit. But they have spaces to stop the thing being crushed, because they are done up really tight. So you've got 3 points. You've got to remove this insulation, heat insulation, because this is where the exhaust is. It's heat shielding. You remove it. You don't need to remove this much. You only need to remove so much. But because there was an outline, I removed all of it. You only need to remove so much. The other side is the exact same story, but without the heat shielding. The pilot indents do not line up. So I would do a pilot hole first and then do it, because I can't see, but with under one of them there is a whole mess, so be very careful. I don't remember which end is which. So when you do the holes, 3 set of screws, either the short or the long ones, go on one side, and the short or the long ones go on the other side. So what you want to do is drop a screw down either side, not like all the way, but like to make sure, or you're going to need to drop the exhaust to get in here as well. But yeah, so there's 3 holes. Come on. Thank you. Yes, you're going to need to pull the exhaust, pull these 2 rubbers off to get into here if you want to do things properly. But yeah, you're going to need to oh, come on. There's three points on either side. And it goes through the recovery point, or the rear towing point for the, like to recover another vehicle over here. So if you're doing it by yourself, the easiest way to do this is to hook that side of the tow bar into that recovery point. So then it sits on the bottom, because I did this all by myself. You sit it on the loop for the recovery point, and then you start boarding it up this side. That way it's easier to do it all yourself. And these plastic annoying things will get in the way as it's been pulled away from the chassis. So they will get in the way. It is inevitable. So if you want to remove them, do it. I don't know if it affects the vehicle or not, but yeah, it will get in the way. But you will, when you get it all on, you will need the screws wouldn't be too much of a problem if the one side's too long, but the spacers, be very careful you do not knock the spacers over, because once they fall over, they're in the chassis rail or the subframe, and they will be very hard to recover. So make sure the vehicle is on level ground, flat level ground, so that the spacers do not fall over, because also the spacers are different lengths again, so be very careful. They will fall over. I've had one fall over, but I got lucky to recover it because it fell over in one of the holes that were just a bit too small. But yeah, so this is a vent, so if you're positive pressure in the cab of the car, it'll let it out. But what you're going to need to do once it's all bolted in is you're going to need to cut the foam on the bumper, because you can't get it on when it's without the bump. Doesn't come factory with a tow bar, so you're going to need to modify the foam to suit. Now the foam is removable, and what you're going to need to do, so this foam is curved, obviously, so what you're going to need to do is get a renovator style tool and cut the foam to suit, and then when you go to put it back, make sure make sure it hooks in, and then it all clips in. And then when you feed the wiring through, I might rotate that, I don't know. I might rotate that, the thing, now I've got it all off. But when you want to do this, I like to add a bit, I like to run this around, so then you got a bit of strain relief for everything. And then you'll need to run it through this loop, this hole. You're going to need to remove the grommet. And then I've just run it through again, through that cable tie, and then in and out the body. So what I'm going to do is unclip all of these quick connects. I'm glad I used quick connects and not soldered it all together. And then just tiny bits of electrical tape to insulate the damage I've done. And then what I'm going to do is get an extra run of wire and tap on to the side lights. Now, if you're going to do into the system harness, I recommend getting to have the least amount of draw on your system to go with LEDs on your trailer. That way you're not putting as much load on your factory harness, your factory system, so then it doesn't affect it all too much, because it's also power efficient. LEDs are that U-Butte stuff. But I will be getting this car professionally converted to LED as well. I just got to get the money to do it. But I thought I would document how to fit a tag tow bar onto a Astra Model G, or Opel Astra Model G, Voxhal Astra Model G, or a Holden Astra TS. So basically you take the rear lights out, take the bumper off, drill into the boot, and then I forget which side the short screws and the long screws go, but make sure to test with the long spaces, because all the long screws, because if the long spaces don't go all the way down on one side, that is the short side. I would take it all apart now, but it's too much of a faff. I've got to move the exhaust pipe out of the way, and I cannot be bothered. I've got to spend all day rewiring everything, and I don't know if I have enough wire available, so I may have to go down to Super Deer and super cheap auto, but here we call it super dear, and get more wire. But yeah, but if you're doing it by yourself, hook the right hand side onto the recovery point. That way it's not all sitting on the ground, and then do the left side first, but also move the exhaust pipe out of the way by undoing the rubber mounts. That way you can get access to the bolts so that the extractor is out of the way. I hope this is enough documentation to be able to fit a tow bar yourself. I wish I recorded it myself so that way you can see the process of doing it all, and see how many mistakes I made. Thankfully those plates hide the holes. For a wiring diagram, I might walk you through it, but that means I'm gonna have to test it all again. I don't remember which one's which, but kind of trace with the factory unit, because they have a rather intricate layout. So it's all traceable, but wiring diagrams, you can get wiring diagram all online, but yeah, I don't know how much it costs to get a Canbus module, but I strongly recommend getting a Canbus module. I can't afford it myself because getting one from Holden, it's going to cost a lot of money, and I've already blown half the circuit. I've already blown half of it because I was stupid and did testing with an analog tester, which sent voltage back through the circuit, and I blew the circuit. So do not do your testing with one of these on a Canbus kit. Do not, because that's how you blow the thing. You use a digital multimeter to do your testing on those Canbus circuits. Otherwise you send voltage back down the line and it hurts the computer. Man, I'm sniffly this morning. So yeah, you can remove these, but then you've got to remove all that, and it's all annoying. So I'm not going to remove all this just to get into this wiring. So what I'm going to do is strip parts of the wiring. I'll figure something out. But yeah, I strongly... Oh, it's come apart. Oopsie. I'll fix that later. I strongly recommend getting a Canbus module because it tells the car that if a tow bar is connected or some other crap. But yeah, when the Canbus module is connected. Oh, and when you remove this, it slides out. Don't reef it out like I did. It slides. It slides off the body. Don't do what I did and snap it off. Otherwise, you'll have to... Because if you do that, it won't sit there properly anymore. It won't sit nice and tidy. Because I reefed it off thinking, oh, it's unclippable. Yeah, no. It just slides off. It's just... Yeah. Basically, it slides backwards. So it goes that way. Optical stabilization is trying to follow. Okay, cool. But yeah. strongly advise getting a Canbus module. That way your car knows your towing and everything else. I can't afford one, and I've blown half the circuit, so yeah, I can't, without taking it to an auto electrician to get it fixed, I can't put a Canbus module on him anymore. So yes, get a Canbus module for this. You will have to go down to your dealer. You have to go down to Opel or Voxhal or Holden to get one, because it is an OEM part only. I went down to J-Car to get one, and it's an OEM part only. So it is going to cost a lot of money to get, but I strongly recommend getting one because it tells your car that you're towing and all this other cool stuff. Because especially if you've got rear fog lights fitted, it does all this fancy stuff. I don't know why, but when you remove those two metal pins, it disconnects the rear fog lights. So when you plug it in, it disconnects the rear fog lights. But I am assuming the Canbus module will have all that feedback system built in. So when you've got, what I'm assuming, when it's all connected, it'll use the rear brake lights on the trailer as a fog light. I am assuming. I don't know. I will never know because I will have to get it all fixed. But yeah, get a Canbus module because this requires a Canbus module. But if you're on a budget, you can tap into it's following. I like that tracking. A little bit of tracking. I've lost my train of thought. You can tap into this, and you can use that analog tester on this. But just trying to track. Okay. I lost my train of thought. I've lost it. But yeah, just tap into each side if you want, if you're on a budget, because you can. This car doesn't use a Canbus for the lights because mine doesn't have all that. I don't have the advanced info display. That tells me a lot of stuff. I've just got the basic display, so it doesn't tell me if I've got a rear blown brake light or anything. But all that does is just monitors the voltages and all that other stuff. So if the voltage is low, whatever. But you can, with this model, the 2002 to 2004 models, you can. The 2005 and up, you cannot. Those properly require Canbus modules for the trailers. You cannot. For the Vectras, I think it's the Vectras, the 2005 and onwards, you cannot tap into the side lights. You cannot. You will blow the computer. You require a Canbus module. Full stop. You will require one. So, with the Model Gs, or the TS models, you can tap into the side lights. But after that, you cannot. So, there it is. Just chuck it. Oh, it snapped. Yeah. Oh well, that's one less clip. Oh well. Doesn't worry me too much. It's just one out of many clips that won't go back on. Not too worried. I got baby seat retainers to go in anyway, even though I don't have any baby seats. But it doesn't hurt in case a mate needs a hand. Just chuck their baby seat in the car, and then, because if they're broken down, they've just chuck their baby seat in your car, and away you go. So it does not hurt to have baby seat retainers, like anchors in the car. It does not hurt. So yeah, probably walk you through the wiring maybe. But basically all you need to do is ground is the brown wire, And then all you need to do is use the multimeter to poke and prod. So have the multimeter ground in the one just above my thumbnail, and then test all the rest, and you will find out which one's which. It's pretty simple, to be honest. So yeah, that's how to fit a tow bar well, not properly, but like, if you follow this properly, you can do it all without blowing your Canbus module, blowing your Canbus line. That's why I've got rear brake. I have not connected a tow bar to this yet. Not tow bar, fucking trailer. I have not connected a trailer to this car yet because I'm too afraid of blowing up my Canbus. I'm too afraid to blow up my car. So I might change things around, but I strongly advise getting a Canbus module. That way it's all, the car knows you're towing, so you can change things accordingly. But anyway, that's really it. Been just going on about the Canbus module on repeat. But yeah, how to put a tow bar on an Astra. If I've missed anything, leave a comment and I can address it by replying to it. I think that's it. Oh yeah. Take care. Bye.